हम्म। Mic off.
Good morning, respected Professor Premrat sir, guest of the event, Shri S.P. Agrawal sir, Executive Chairman Mills, Shri Mohan Garg sir, Joint General Secretary, Professor S.K. Garg sir, DG Mills, Professor Neelam Sharma ma'am, Director Mills, Professor S.A. Deswal sir, Dean Mate, Professor Sachin Gupta sir, Dean Research and Innovation, all other dignitaries, HODs of all departments, dear faculty members, and students. We, on behalf of Maharaja Agrawal Institute of Technology, welcome you all. इस वर्ष मेट्स अपनी रजत जयंती मना रहा है और इसका आदर्श वाक्य है राष्ट्र प्रथम। इस संस्थान में प्रत्येक व्यक्ति राष्ट्र सेवा में समर्पित है। राष्ट्र को सर्वोपरि रखते हुए और यजुर्वेद के 9वें अध्याय की 23वीं कंडिका की पंक्ति वयम राष्ट्रे जागृयाम पुरोहिता, अर्थात हम पुरोहित राष्ट्र को जीवन एवं जागृत बनाए रखेंगे को शिरोधार्य करते हुए आज हम सभी एकत्रित हुए हैं एक विकास संवाद के लिए। भारतवर्ष के विभिन्न महाविद्यालयों में मेट चुनिंदा केंद्रों में से एक है जहां AICTE और MOE द्वारा प्रस्तावित अमृत काल विमर्श श्रृंखला का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। एक प्रयास विकसित भारत 2047 की नींव पर आधारित परिवर्तनशील परिवर्तन पर चर्चा।
To mark an auspicious beginning of today's event, as well as to seek prosperity for all present today, let us invoke Ma Saraswati by kindling the lamp of light and wisdom. For this, may I request all the dignitaries to kindly join us for the lamp lighting ceremony.
आगे इधर ही ठीक है, 4 है ना, 4 तो है।
I request please come on the dais. I request Professor Premchand sir, S.K. Garg sir, S.P. Kaal sir. Sir, please come on the dais. All the students, please take your seats. We are honored to have Professor Premchand sir, Chairman Board of Governors, IIT Dhanbad, former Director IITR, as guest of the event. It's time to welcome our guests. I request Shri S.P. Agrawal sir, Executive Chairman Mates, to kindly welcome Professor Premchand sir with a bouquet and shawl. I request Shri Mohan Garg sir, Joint General Secretary Mates, to welcome him with a token of gratitude. I request Professor Dr. D.K. Banwai sir, please come on the dais for the felicitation. I request Professor S.K. Garg sir to welcome him with a memento, with a bouquet.
I request Professor Neelam Sharma, ma'am, Director Mates, to kindly present a bouquet to Shri S.P. Agarwal, Executive Chairman Mates. I request Professor S.S. Deswal sir, Dean Mates, to kindly present a bouquet to Shri Mohan Garg sir, Joint General Secretary Mates.
Now I request all the dignitaries, please take your seats. चर्चा आरंभ करने से पूर्व मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी श्री मोहन गर्ग सर को, जॉइंट जनरल सेक्रेटरी, कृपया हमें अपने शब्दों से अनुग्रहित करें। श्री मोहन गर्ग सर।
बहुत बहुत स्वागत मान्यवर। कृपया आप स्थान ग्रहण करें सर। कुदालों के फल दोस्तों तेज कर लो, कुदालों के फल दोस्तों तेज कर लो, जरा और हिम्मत को महफूज कर लो। बढ़ेंगे अभी और आगे बढ़ेंगे, बढ़ेंगे अभी और आगे बढ़ेंगे। हम गौरवान्वित हैं, हमारे बीच उपस्थित है माननीय प्रोफेसर प्रेमव्रत। आप एक प्रख्यात शिक्षाविद हैं तथा अनेक सम्माननीय पदों की शोभा बढ़ा रहे हैं। यथा प्रो चांसलर नॉर्थ कैप यूनिवर्सिटी गुरुग्राम, अध्यक्ष बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स IIT धनबाद, आप IIT रुड़की के निदेशक भी रहे हैं। डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी लखनऊ के कुलपति पद की गरिमा भी आप बढ़ा चुके हैं। पूर्व अध्यक्ष बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स IIT मंडी तथा आप AICT के डिस्टिंग्विश्ड चेयर प्रोफेसर भी रहे हैं। पिछले 5 दशकों से आप शिक्षा, अनुसंधान और प्रबंधन के क्षेत्र में अपनी सेवाएं दे रहे हैं। IIT दिल्ली, IIT खड़गपुर, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वेस्टर्न सिडनी ऑस्ट्रेलिया, बर्मिंघम यूनिवर्सिटी, एशियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी बैंकॉक, MGI गुरुग्राम इत्यादि संस्थान आपका कार्य क्षेत्र रहे हैं। आप जहां भी रहे वहीं प्रणालीगत विकास में समग्र उत्कृष्टता लाने का प्रयास करते रहे हैं। आपने 50 से भी अधिक PhD शोधार्थियों का मार्गदर्शन किया है और अब तक 515 से ऊपर शोध पत्र, 7 पुस्तकें, 5 प्रायोजित अनुसंधान परियोजनाएं और 36 कंसल्टेंसी असाइनमेंट्स पूरी कर चुके हैं। आपके शोध पत्रों को 10,092 साइटेशंस मिल चुके हैं और आपकी पुस्तक प्रोडक्टिविटी मैनेजमेंट अ सिस्टम अप्रोच को बेहद ही सराहा गया है तथा ISTD एवं DMA ने उसे पुरस्कृत भी किया है। और आपकी पुस्तक मटीरियल्स मैनेजमेंट एंड इंटीग्रेटेड सिस्टम्स अप्रोच का प्रकाशन स्प्रिंगर नेचर ने किया। आपको अनेक पुरस्कारों से सम्मानित किया गया है जिसकी फहरिस्त बहुत लंबी है, तो मैं सिर्फ कुछ ही का उल्लेख करना चाहूंगी। IIT खड़गपुर द्वारा डिस्टिंग्विश्ड एल्यूमनस अवार्ड, IIT दिल्ली द्वारा डिस्टिंग्विश्ड सर्विस अवार्ड और IIT दिल्ली द्वारा ही आउटस्टैंडिंग कंट्रीब्यूशन अवार्ड फॉर नेशनल डेवलपमेंट, उत्तरांचल रत्न अवार्ड, लिलियन गिलब्रेथ अवार्ड और भारत के पूर्व राष्ट्रपति माननीय श्री प्रणब मुखर्जी के कर कमलों द्वारा आपको विजनरी लीडर ऑफ इंडिया का सम्मान दिया गया। उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री माननीय योगी श्री आदित्यनाथ जी ने आपको सिस्टम सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडिया की ओर से लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड देकर सम्मानित किया है। ऐसे ही इंडिया फाउंडेशन ने आपको गुरु की उपाधि से अलंकृत किया और केंद्रीय हिंदी संस्थान ने आपको आत्माराम पुरस्कार से नवाजा। शिक्षा क्षेत्र में आपके असाधारण योगदान के लिए आपको APAC एजुकेशनल लीडरशिप अवार्ड दिया गया। लीड ग्लोबल कॉन्क्लेव में आपको द ग्रेट इंडियन टीचर का खिताब दिया गया। तकनीकी शिक्षा में गुणवत्ता बढ़ाने हेतु सबको जागरूक करते रहना, ये आपको इसलिए विशेष रूप से जाना जाता है कि मात्र बहुनोक्तेन शास्त्र कोटि शतेन च दुर्लभा चित्त विश्रांति ही विना गुरु कृपाम परम। बहुत कहने से क्या प्रयोजन, करोड़ों शास्त्रों से भी क्या, चित्त की परम शांति गुरु के बिना मिलना दुर्लभ है। गुरु होगा भारत के आत्मनिर्भर बनने की ओर, विकसित भारत के पुनर्निर्माण की ओर तथा भारत मां को विश्व गुरु के ताज से सुशोभित करने की ओर। भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 2047 तक विकसित भारत का जो लक्ष्य रखा है, उसी को लेकर प्रोफेसर साहब अमृत काल विमर्श की श्रृंखला में अपना वक्तव्य रखेंगे। आज के विचार मंथन को चंद पंक्तियां समर्पित करना चाहूंगी। धीमे सुरों से गंगा ये गुनगुना रही है, धीमे सुरों से गंगा ये गुनगुना रही है, अमृत से भी बढ़कर आबे रवा हमारा। इल्मो हुनर में आगे सबसे बढ़ा हुआ है, इल्मो हुनर में आगे सबसे बढ़ा हुआ है, पीछे रहा किसी से कब कारवां हमारा। अनुरोध प्रोफेसर प्रेमव्रत से कि वे अपने मूल्यवान विचार हमसे साझा करें। प्रोफेसर साहब।
बहुत धन्यवाद आपका, बहुत ही प्रभावशाली इंट्रोडक्शन देने के लिए। आदरणीय डॉक्टर एस पी अग्रवाल जी जो एक्सिक्यूटिव चेयरमैन है यहाँ के, श्री मोहन गर्ग, डॉक्टर एस के गर्ग डायरेक्टर जनरल, प्रोफेसर नीलम शर्मा एपी डायरेक्टर, डीन्स, heads of departments, faculty members, and distinguished invitees और प्रिय छात्र और छात्राओं, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन। मुझे हालांकि मैं हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों बोल सकता हूँ, क्योंकि मेरा स्वर अंग्रेजी भाषा में मिला हुआ है, तो मैं आपसे अनुमति चाह के उसी रूप में मैं, और चूंकि बहुत और लोग भी मुझे सुन रहे होंगे, तो विद योर परमिशन आई मेक माय प्रेजेंटेशन इन इंग्लिश। बीच बीच में हिंदी भी बोलता रहूंगा। द थीम फॉर टुडे एज ए पार्ट ऑफ द डेवलप इंडिया डायलॉग, जो कि अमृत काल विमर्श विकसित भारत 2047 के नाम से हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के द्वारा जो ध्येय दिया गया है, उसके तत्वाधान में AICT और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन के माध्यम से मैं आपके सामने प्रस्तुत हुआ हूं, क्योंकि उन्होंने मुझे ये बताया कि मुझे यहाँ पे जाना है। उन्होंने कुछ चिन्हित संस्थान लिए हैं और मैं आपको बधाई देता हूं कि उन्होंने बहुत सेलेक्टेड इंस्टीट्यूशंस को चुना है इस काम के लिए, और आपको नेक में A++ होना आपके लिए एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट एक बेंचमार्क रहा है इस यहाँ पे इस भाषण पर। तो मैं अपनी जो बातें बोलूंगा वो ईमानदारी से भारत को विकसित राष्ट्र बनाने के लिए हमें क्या करना होगा, क्या आत्ममंथन की आवश्यकता हमें है, और हम क्या कर पाएंगे कि सिर्फ नारा न रह जाए। मेरा पूरे वक्तव्य इसका मजमून यही रहेगा। The major point which indeed as our Honorable Prime Minister has given a mission, and he has a vision to make India as a developed nation by 2047, when we complete 100 years of India's independence. Now, ये जो ध्येय है, पहले मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, it's realizable, it's possible, because we were in the past. India was known for its outstanding universities the world over. The first global university in Nalanda, in fact, was an example where scholars from all over the world used to come for in search of education. We had world-class universities then, even as late as 1500 AD. If you look at the contribution of India and China in the world trade, India's contribution in the world trade was around 23-25%. China was 25 to 7%. So the total India and China were contributing to 50% of the world trade, which is some indicator of the development index. While China has reached that level, we have shrunk to about 2 to 3% at this point in time. But since we had achieved those benchmarks in the past, I have every hope that we can do it even now if concerted effort with a shared vision with the spirit of passion for the nation building process is taken. And my lecture is basically designed with that spirit in mind. To give a caveat, I have made it that whatever I say is my personal view. You may or may not agree with it. Kindly ignore it if it is not in tune with your own personal thought, because I respect every opinion. This is what I honestly feel if we genuinely want to achieve India to a developed level status, because we were there, so we have all the hope. And perhaps in this why we have gone down from 23% to 2 to 3%. Our entire educational system, the old system of education that India had, we were proud of that. I'll just share the one major contributor to that, which is not a standard, I call it Macaulay mindset. The Macaulay, as you know, Lord Macaulay was responsible for developing Indian education system during British rule. And he was responsible for changing the old Indian culture of education of Guru Shish Parampara, Gurukul Parampara, into the so-called Montessori school culture, or the public school culture that you talked about, with language in English. And the whole spirit, as I call it, as that mindset was to create a set of people in the country who would have great respect of anything foreign, English language, English people, English culture, English product, or British or foreign products, and would have a relatively low social esteem on your own products, or your own people, or own language. This, to my mind, is one of the primary reasons for India going down. The British wanted Indian education system to serve them. And fortunately, there are trends now to look at Macaulay mindset with a questioning mind. But I, to be honest, I don't think it has totally vanished from our mindset yet. That's why I've chosen my theme of my lecture as nurturing minds and mindsets. To me, minds and mindsets together need to be nurtured to make our educational systems truly outstanding and world class. And because in the past it was so, if you look at, for example, the India's glorious past and cultural heritage. As I mentioned, that our ancient Indian scriptures, our temple architecture, look at some of the temples in South India or any part of the world. Taj Mahal is nothing compared to that kind of intricate architecture. The kind of technology we must have had to reach at the top, the kind of technology we must have had to create a great Akriti from a mountain, a single hill in Ellora caves. Therefore, our ancient scriptures, our temple architecture, our education system, the wisdom of our saints, seers, Guru Shish Parampara, and our the concept of peace, prosperity for all, and goodwill for all was the essence of good quality of life. And therefore, to illustrate just a sample of that, of what constitutes a developed country or a good quality of life, I'm quoting from two of our very respected scriptures. Example, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhana, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyantu Bhava. Look at the kind of society that you have. Let everyone be happy, Sukhi. Sarve Santu Niramaya, all Sant, Nirbhik, Nidar. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Look into positivity in people, or kisi ko dukh na ho. I mean, if you looked in a society of that kind, what else is Viksit Bharat? If we could create an environment to look at what, or if I quote from more recent, relatively recent Samskrit Manas, Dainik Devik Bhautik Tapa, Ram Raj Nahi Kahu Hi Vyapa, Sab Nar Karahi Paraspar Priti, Chalai Swadharma Nirat Shruti Niti, where the holistic health, Dainik Devik Bhautik, physical, mental, spiritual health, किसी को not कहूँगा but the entire population free from all kinds of ailments, physical, spiritual, and mental. सब नर करें परस्पर प्रीति. Everyone respects everyone. चले स्वधर्म निरक्षुत नीति. Everyone अपने अपने कर्मों अपने धर्म के अनुसार, सर्वे अपने कर्म धर्म के अनुसार निरंतर श्रुति नीति, वेद की नीति के अनुसार अपने अपने आचरण को स्वधर्म को पूरा करें. Imagine, if you could imagine a society of this kind, that's Ramraj. And therefore, when we talk of India as a Viksit Bharat by 2047, we need to create a society of that kind. And many of my presentation that I try to make is an honest effort in trying to create the right kind of mindset. That's why minds and mindset is the major, because our major problem is not our minds. Indian minds are some of the most brilliant material on earth. You make any complex rule, and if I have personal benefit to it, I can find a loophole in that rule. Only the best of the minds can do it. But great minds without an equally matching mindset cannot bring you development. There are terrible problems of great minds with distorted mindsets, and therefore that's what we need to look at. And that's why my theme is to nurture. Nurture is the word, it's not a command. Nurture minds and mindsets, so that brilliant minds with an equally matching brilliant mindsets is what India needs to develop it as a developed nation. And this what will bring back to our past glory. And as a result, if you look at it, even you look at from the point of view of sustainable development goals, and you know that India is a votary to the 17 sustainable development goals. If I group them into 5 P's, perhaps that's what we need. And these 5 P's are people. That means we need to nurture people, people quality, the biggest single development. And that's why educational institutions have enormous role to nurture people quality, because, and that's why I often look at institutions of education at the temples of Indian national development process. I look at the teachers at the major building blocks in national development process. I never take a teacher as an employee. Every teacher is an important building block in the national development process, and educational institutions, because fortunes of a country are made in the classrooms and laboratories of educational institutions. And therefore in the process, people, planning, environmental, prosperity for all. Prosperity for some is not going to take us to the state of development of a prosperity for all. This is a part of the 17 SDGs, peace and partnership. Unless you have peace in the society, peace and partnership, collaboration, developing towards teamwork. And therefore, if we really want to develop a roadmap of Viksit Bharat by 2047, we need to address these 5 P's, and therefore accordingly, our national priorities have to be education. I often believe that education should be the topmost national priority, because through the education, you develop people, you develop nation, you develop societies. Values, education without values is very, very harmful. Health, infrastructure, teachers, environment, research and planning. ERP, I call it, is a very famous computer that people would. To my ERP for national development is education, research and planning. Because all these 3 sectors require tremendously intellectual output, human capital. And unless we spend money as a part of the national investment process in education, in research and planning, we cannot become a developed nation, because planning, which is normally underplayed in the country, shows you the direction. Unless you want the right direction, which planning process will tell you, we will not be able to make progress. Research and innovation brings you new ideas and competitive advantage globally. It's through research that we'll be able to make our local products globally competitive. And education is as an important component. Therefore, these national priorities, to my mind, if we focus on them, they show us a way of going progressively in a determined manner to make the country a great nation. This requires, every development process requires 2 prerequisites. I often say this. And one prerequisite is sincere commitment of the top leadership towards national development, sincere commitment. And number 2, the quality of people, the quality of human resources. If these 2 things are in place, we will circumvent all problems of resource constraint, resource crunch, financial problems, because then, if you have good quality people and the sincere committed leadership, all problems and constraints to every problem is awaiting a solution. By using right priorities and right kind of policy interventions, we'll be able to circumvent all difficulties of resource crunch and limitations of everything, or natural resources. But if these 2 things are missing, we may find reasons why we are not developing, but we will not develop. And so as a result, I've chosen the development of people, the quality of human resources, as the important theme of my presentation here. And all that I say is primarily intended at improving the quality of people, because there's an important generalization that one can make. before India can improve the quality of its products and services, it needs to improve its quality of its people. And the quality being a multidimensional attribute, those of you know total quality would know that. And therefore, as a result, we need to address that. Now, we have in the recent time, we have made tremendous improvement in this country. For example, look at the recent Chandrayaan 3, the huge network of infrastructure, expressways, bullet trains, RRTS, Vande Bharat, and the kind of mobile revolution, the least cost data that one can get in the world. India is proud of those major strides it has made its infrastructure sector, and in fact it's necessary. But infrastructure is necessary but not sufficient for development. In order to make it sufficient for development, we need to nurture people, because infrastructure is necessary but not sufficient, and therefore, while we are making a right strides in moving towards developing a right kind of ecosystem for making India a great developed nation by the time, and I'm very happy about this time frame 25, because development is not an either or switch off, switch on. It takes time, a sincere commitment to reach that goal on a progressive way, and 25 years time to reach that goal of becoming a global leadership position is doable, and a reasonable amount of time is not unreasonable target, provided we sincerely, in a committed fashion, work towards in that direction. And therefore, we have done that, but we still need to do that. Now, हाँ जी, मैं ये बात बताना चाह रहा हूँ, आजकल ये थोड़ी बीमारी हो गई है। आजकल एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन में अखबार में आती फला बच्चे को फला कॉलेज का 1.5 करोड़ का पैकेज मिला है। ये मेरे विचार से बहुत उचित तरीका नहीं है। 600 बच्चों में एक आध को मिल भी गया, वो भी डॉलर में कन्वर्ट करके, it's not the way to look at your, and because reason is, if you really want to nurture as a society, look at what role money plays in your life. So what I've done here, I've shown you a kind of a convex quadratic curve. On x-axis is the amount of money or wealth you have in you as an individual or maybe in a nation, and on y-axis is the quality of life. What is important is the quality of life, and therefore money plays a role in enhancing the quality of life. And therefore, what you see here, if you have no money, then again there is no quality of life. And if you do require certain amount of wealth, you enjoy, but you reach a level, a plateau, almost an optimal value, and if you have more money than that, the quality of life goes down. And therefore, if you look at the two extremes, a tremendous too much of money, almost you are dirt rich or you are dirt poor. Either way, the quality of life is poor. The reason I'm making this is to convey a point of view, and this is almost paraphrasing as an engineering person. What Kabir had said in the, we stopped teaching those things. जो जल बाढ़े नाव में घर में बाढ़े गाम दो हाथ उलीचे ये सज्जन का काम. Therefore, too much money, where people are driven by money alone, because a great teacher cannot be a great teacher if he's driven by money alone. Because teaching is a passion. A teacher must get a reasonable salary, but paying him more and more is no guarantee of being a great teacher. And therefore, what is required is a passion and commitment. Don't think as an employee, a part of an important national development process. And therefore, to me, perhaps in order to optimize the quality of life for people, you need to draw a line that a reckless race for money and money and money and money is not going to take us, because normally major crimes in the society are either dhan ka abhav ya dhan ka prabhav. Therefore, in order to have a right balance, and that's why when you look at the placements in a college, let this package not be, it's important, but it's not the only thing. A package driven, so therefore the kind of how many of you are going in for research and development, because unless people go to Chandrayaan, ISRO, how would Chandrayaan would come? ISRO doesn't pay very well. Unless you go for teaching in IITs, you cannot produce it unless you are a scientist in CSIR. Therefore, the kind of places your people are joining, in what way they are contributing to the national development process. If a multinational company in India and picks up a top brain by paying him $1 crore in dollar terms, We have lost him for the society. We lost him for the nation. And therefore, as a result, perhaps we need to have a balanced approach in looking at the role of money in life. Now, I'll take you some of the viewpoints, which are indeed viewpoints which indeed are important. Number one, the development of Vikas is a multi-attribute concept and is not fully captured by a single measurable index such as GDP or even per capita GDP. GDP is one of the factors, or per capita is definitely one of the factors. Development is a multi-dimensional attribute, and those of you who know multi-criterion decision making know that multi-criterion decision making requires a number of attributes, tangible and intangible, social and economical, and single concept, measurable concepts such as the GDP or per unit GDP cannot be a measure of index of development. Development is a function of health, wealth, happiness, quality of life, and peace of mind. And therefore, when you talk about development, it's a function of health, wealth, happiness, quality of life, and peace of mind. Those of you who might be aware, perhaps in Bhutan, the only country in the world does not measure its prosperity by GDP or GNP. They have brought on the concept of what's called a GNH, gross national happiness. And the curve that I have shown you, because I had a presentation in Nepal, in Bhutan, the gross national happiness index is quite similar to the concept of quality of life I've shown here. As a result, therefore, whatever we do, if gross national means if the whole society is happy, this is what a survey Bhavantu Sukhina is what gross national happiness is. And therefore, as a result, development is a function of health, wealth, happiness, quality of life, and peace of mind. And therefore, economic parameters such as the size of the economy, GDP, per capita GDP are important, but is not a sole capture of the total concept of development. The total quality of people, population can be an asset and not a liability. Many times we have been, cribbing about our population is a problem. Have you ever thought of if these people were globally employable? This is what we call a demographic dividend. And with these people, and therefore the only way India can be much forward is making these people globally employable. There I'll come to that. And therefore, as a result, if people are quality people, they're employable, globally employable, they're people of total quality, then a population can be an asset and not a liability. We have made population as a liability by not nurturing them into great quality minds and great quality mindsets. And therefore, investment in people with great kind of minds is the surest way. Because on this time, India being the youngest nation in the world, where 55% of the population is less than 25 years of age, this is what we call a demographic dividend. The whole developed world is aging. Average age of Japan is like 87 years. And therefore, they are dependent on technology and systems and convenience of life. From where would they get their people? Everybody will rush towards India. The entire this country would be sought after place for hiring Indian talent. To me, therefore, I often say IT, we have narrowed the canvas of IT only by confining it to information technology. To me, IT is Indian talent. Whatever you do, if you excel in doing what we are doing, the whole world will be sought after. And this is what is called demographic dividend. And therefore, the amount of investment we make in making this Indian talent globally, and that's my wider converse of I think for total quality of people, population can be an asset and not a liability. And there is no linear functional relationship that I already talked about. Then technology is an engine of growth and development and prosperity. But it's a necessary enabler, but not sufficient for development. Simply, technological development is not enough. Technology without human values can be disastrous for the society, and the integration of technology with great human beings, human values, and professional ethics is an important component of making the technology as an instrument of change and prosperity for the society. That's why when I was Vice Chancellor of the Technical University, I made perhaps the first university in the country to make a compulsory audit course of any degree from VPTU, a compulsory course in human values and professional ethics, because I felt that the technological development without human values and ethics can sometimes, technology minus values can be disastrous for the society. The huge amount of cyber crime that we are looking for, so much so that in computer science, instead of main computer science, cyber security has become a major subject. Cyber crimes have become a major subject because human values and technology together is a boon for the society. Technology minus human values can be a great curse for the society, and therefore, as a result, we must, when we teach technology, we must integrate into it great human values and professional ethics. And for Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is almost a prerequisite for development, we make our products globally competitive, which is only possible if we are able to deliver good quality, a better quality at a lower cost. This is called value for money. The only way you can get the customers, we are offering a great quality product or service at the lowest possible cost, and therefore, as a result, concept of value engineering, concept industrial engineering, unfortunately, industrial engineering and value engineering are being underplayed here. I can never imagine in any branch of engineering, and industrial engineering will never be outdated ever. It's not a fashionable concept because industrial engineering approach looks at a problem in its totality. As an industrial, I can say that it looks at a problem in its totality in all perspectives holistically, to reduce cost, to eliminate wastage, to enhance productivity, to increase, to delight customers. When would these concepts be outdated? Never. And if all branches of engineering, be it computer science or chemical engineering or mining or wherever, an important component input of industrial engineering, value engineering, so they knock out losses, and only by incorporating value engineering and industrial engineering, whatever we teach, we can make our products local products globally competitive, because they will offer for value for money, so that we design systems and services which are better, cheaper, safer, faster, lighter, and longer lasting, to make our local products globally competitive. Unless we address these dimensions, getting India to be Atmanirbhar indeed would again be a far cry. Then the next important viewpoint I have this is an important part of the mindset. Balancing concern for others with the concern for self is extremely vital for a developed society. Peace and goodwill amongst people is an important prerequisite for development, which is only possible by nurturing a balanced and positive value system. It means, if you look at distortions in the value system, the crowd that you see on the roads or anywhere else is at most concern for self and very little concern for others. This indeed is the root cause of major problems for mindset, where for a small personal gain, I'm willing to harm the society. And these others can be a customer, and the others could be a colleague, your person, your spouse, your family members, your society. The others can be the nature, where in order to wash off my sins, I pass all the dirt into my rivers and making them polluted. And therefore, extremely important change in the value system and mindset is where I do not flourish at the cost of others. So a balanced mindset, where you balance your concern. I'm not saying you become a sannyasi and you renounce yourself. A balanced concern for self and others, so that you do not flourish at the cost of others, is an extremely important prerequisite for a developed society. And engineering technology education is vital for development, and therefore I am concerned about the declining interest of core engineering branches in the country. I see it as an extremely major constraint in our development process if we ignore core engineering branches at the cost of easily convenient IT. I'm not against IT. I'm not against it in any concept, but a balanced concern. And therefore, to me, using IT as an enabling technology, computer science, AI as an enabling technology, and not at the cost of core technology, so that IT enabled mechanical engineering, AI enabled mechanical engineering, AI enabled civil engineering, because without those core engineering branches, which can be facilitated, enabled by intervention of the IT and AI, to use them as enabling, so that even productivity of the core engineering would increase, and the IT canvas will be much more, because in every branch of engineering, you would require IT and AI, not only confined to only computer science and engineering. This would be a win-win proposition, and therefore a balanced development of technical education without ignoring core engineering, to my mind, is extremely important. And if this point of view is ignored, I may or may not remain in this world, but you'd notice that you would have missed an important right direction of developing a great nation, because as I mentioned, it's doable. We are capable of becoming a developed nation, but we need to follow a right direction in which we need to go. And therefore, a balanced education by integrating IT and AI into core engineering, so that AI and IT as enabling technology have symbiotic relationship with core engineering is indeed the only way a great technical education system would really become an important engine of growth and development in making Viksit Bharat. Now let's look at a scenario. We want to become a developed nation by 2047. What are the salient features of a developed nation? Some of these: quality of people, prosperity for all, with very low gap between rich and poor. Where extreme richness and extreme poverty cannot coexist in a peaceful manner for long. Therefore, in order to create a peaceful society, we should reduce this. It can't be the same for all, but at least the gap between rich and poor cannot be unimaginably too much. A peaceful coexistence and law-abiding people. People follow norms and rules. Peaceful coexistence. Effective implementation of project policy and implement. We have great vision and policy, but they need to be effectively implemented on ground. Many times our implementation lacks the kind of plan, and therefore a project or a policy is as good as effectively implemented on ground. And the effective implementation of projects, policies and programs. Quality education, holistic quality education, good health and happiness amongst people, integrity, respect for women, punctuality, cleanliness, technological advancement and technology enable transparent systems and processes, environmentally sustainable manufacturing, logistics, sustainable manufacturing, logistics and service systems, food and energy security, high degree of nationalism without being parochial or arrogant. A nationalistic person does not naturally automatically make you arrogant or parochial. So great degree of nationalism in people without making you either parochial or arrogant, and therefore high respect for your own culture, your own values. That so you don't have to downgrade your scriptures, your values, your culture, your education system, your gurus, or what great India had. And this is what I said. We have to go away with that Macaulay mindset with everything foreigner is better than everything Indian. I've been in I refused to go to US. I could have gone. I was talking in Anti-Carpool. I had a green card, and I refused to avail it. I said, let me die and contribute to India as much as I can. You need to have pride in your own values and culture and education. And this is the Macaulay mindset is what you really with that. And then what is required is high respect for your own culture, values, languages, history, and literature. What therefore is required is matching of minds and mindsets. As I said, that we are brilliant people, our mindset is not matching that great minds. So we're using that great mind into personally getting more and more for self. India cannot become a developed nation unless we match minds and mindset together. And that's why I chose this theme when ICT gave me this opportunity. And therefore the entire concept of higher demographic dividend is only realizable. The Indian population can be a truly asset if we make these people, and that's the role of educational institution, to make our every person globally employable. Global employability, therefore, should be the objective of placement of every education system, not percentage placements, which many times we keep on manipulating statistics to show, for various agencies. To me, if you make your people 100% globally employable, and global reason because globally employable person would have the entire world as a place where one can get a job, and this how India will become Vishnu is right. If you see, about 12 to 13 of our Indian origin CEOs are the top CEOs of the world companies. This will happen more and more because fortunately the large population who are globally employable will not be sufficiently contributing for national development, but because of the large population, we'll have enough surplus. This people who can be exported for developing other countries, and therefore with that almost every world would be having all top people, including top population politicians from Indian origin, and already the Prime Minister of England is now of Indian origin. In fact, one couldn't have imagined in one's lifetime. So this can happen not in all top companies in the world, and to my mind, that's the root of becoming a Wish Guru. It can only happen in educational institution. Forgetting about the money part of it's not a return on investment in money terms. It's a return on investment in nation building, in developing a great country, that we should look at the education. And for that, develop a model of employability. Employability is not employment. It is the capacity caliber or the capability nurtured in you by the educational system to make you globally in attracting and retaining the position. Even if I place you in a company to make my statistics, but you're not employable, and no company can run without employable people. You lose the job. Therefore, instead of employment, we should focus on employability, which is a multi-dimensional, multi-attribute. Anything of relevance has a multi-dimensional. It is a model that you see of employability is a common concept of attitude, knowledge, and skill. And therefore, employability is attitude multiplied. It's a multiplication. Alpha times knowledge plus 1 minus alpha times skill. So knowledge and skill, unfortunately, in our educational system, and to some extent, NEP is going to reduce the distortion. Only focus in classroom is knowledge, information. Skill was missing, but knowledge and skill are two parts of the same coin. And alpha is the weightage that you give to knowledge and skill, depending upon whether you are doing technicians or a engineering graduate or master's or doctorate. Alpha value between 0 and 1 is a relative weightage between knowledge and skill. But all this multiplied by attitude. So attitude is a multiplier. Values, ethics, culture, your concern, your mindset is a multiplier. So if you are extremely brilliant and knowledgeable person, highly skilled, but you are perceived as a negative attitude, my model makes you less employable. Negative, because with a negative attitude, you will find problems with every solution offered. With a positive attitude, you will find solution to every problem. Every problem has a solution, provided you seek that solution with an open mind and a positive attitude. And therefore, people who have a positive attitude, and that's why, because you multiplied any large quantity in the bracket, highly knowledgeable, highly skilled, multiplied by 0. Therefore, in order to develop our educational processes, we must not ignore the value system, must not ignore the character building, must not ignore ethics, must not ignore human values and positive attitude building. And therefore, a number of things, and therefore, model that I developed, you can measure that. And therefore, or alternatively, employability, the quality of mind multiplied by quality of mindset. That's why I chose the theme as an educational institution. We really want to develop employability, enrich the quality of mind and the quality of mindset together. Because if any one of these is missing, perhaps we will not be. But in the whole process, the role of teachers in this development journey is enormous. Teachers, in my mind, if I said all through, the enormous role that teacher plays in an educational process. To me, the real soul of an education are the teachers or the faculty. And therefore, to me, it's an education as an important contributor for nation building is in creating good citizens. It's not simply producing degree holders, producing good human beings. You cannot be a great engineer or a manager unless you're a good human being first. Only great engineers and human beings can become great teachers, and as a result, our educational process, in addition to have a domain knowledge, must create good citizens of the society, and therefore role model teachers are the most important critical component in that success. And therefore, to me, the role of a teacher, since I've got my lifetime, nearly 62 years, I've been an integral part of the IIT system. As a student, undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral, and as a teacher for 55 years in IIT Delhi. I have a class in IIT Delhi from 5 to 6 today, in the evening, I'll go there. Therefore, to me, the role of a teacher, I've described in an acronym IIT. IIT refers inspire, involve, and transform. Therefore, the role of a teacher is to inspire the younger generation. And unless the teacher himself or herself in the highest state of motivation and inspiration, an uninspired teacher is unlikely to inspire the generations of young people they're nurturing. Therefore, inspirational role cannot come through PPTs and through Google. Information can come through Google. If only information giving was the role of a teacher, you do not require that Google will replace them all. But the inspirational role to inspire, involve. Involving tells you the kind of pedagogy that we use in teaching learning processes there. By solving problem, by giving them involvement in project-based learning, involving them together, jointly and therefore the concept of a teacher now, a teacher is a co-learner along with other learners. We are co-creating an experience in the classroom by being co-learner, and therefore involve and transform. The real test of a great institution is the kind of transformation we have brought into this place. And therefore, to me, here I will even prescribe to this ranking of the institutions that we do here based on that. Perhaps needs a revisit. Where, if suppose I'm able to get relatively less brilliant student, but I make him as brilliant as the best of the institutions in the world, my contribution as an educational institution is far more than those institutions who, through the process of filtering, take the top 2% of the cream. Because if you look at the contribution from IITs and IIMs, who actually the major role is to select, filter them out only 2%. And what an effort people make to get in there. Perhaps the role by them in value addition may be much less compared to an institution like yours, which may not get such a best brains as the IITs get because they brand value, but you can nurture them with the same degree of competence and global employability. Your contribution to the country and the society is much more, and therefore what I have prescribed, that the value addition done by you when you entered, what is your employability level, and what have you done when you that person leaves from here, the value addition that as an education which you have done to them should be the real test of your contribution to the society, and that should be the basis of ranking institutions. But then, unfortunately, unless somebody from outside says that, it may not happen. And therefore, as a result, we need to inculcate a kind of a respect for teachers in the society. And I'm sorry to say that with because teacher in me is so powerful that whatever titles I have got as a coach, also a director, chairman, I have not stopped teaching. I still teach in my university full course. Even as director, IIT Roorkee, IIT Delhi, I was teaching a course. I was guiding research, guiding B.Tech project, guiding M.Tech project, publishing papers. And as a result, a teacher is a teacher forever. And if people come as teachers with it's a passion. It's not an employment, and therefore we create conditions in society which attract the best and the brightest of the society to join teaching and research as their first love. Because it makes a difference when you join a profession as a first love as compared to when there is no other alternative. And therefore, unless we focus in that journey of development process, perhaps we would have missed the bus of making India a developed nation. But the teachers play the most important role in the process of doing so. Now, I'll share with you some of the inhibitors. Because unless you do soul searching, where do we stand? I want to be a developed country by 2047. Where do I stand? What are the inhibitions? What is preventing our number one, imbalance in value orientation with relatively high concern for self and low concern for others. This is the root cause of many other inhibitors in the development process. And therefore, as a result, unless I find out the root cause of this problem, lack of customer focus. I don't know whether how many have heard about Mahatma Gandhi's orientation of customer. Mahatma Gandhi, and that quotation is almost reproduced in many great books on total quality management. Mahatma Gandhi perceived as a customer is the most important visitor in our premises. He's not dependent on us, we are dependent on him. He's not external in our business, he's a part of it. He's not an interference in our business, he's the purpose of it. And we are not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing that favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. Therefore, if I look at the customer under the manufacturing system, the educational system, our students are not our customer, they are also our product. So it's our object, our purpose, we will nurture them, guide them, educate them, because a student is not a customer, a product as well. And therefore, a customer orientation is somewhat weak, which indeed has benefited and one of the very that I often say that I have a lot of sense of humor. I said the way we look at our customer, we virtually make him cost the same mark. Give him hell after his spectacle. Therefore, unless we cannot make our local product globally competitive unless we have customer orientation, high tolerance for ambiguity, particularly for time and the quality. High tolerance for ambiguity, plus minus आधा घंटा in the रुक. Because I mean, as I was mentioning before coming here, that I have imposed on my self-imposed value system of being punctual since my childhood, and many times people call me embarrassingly punctual. Many times I was invited to the chief guest, nobody, even the warden had not come in IIT Delhi. I reached there on time. Roorkee found a way out to solve this problem. He used to publish 2 types of invitations. A card 7 for others, 7:30 for me. But then if we have that kind of ambiguity, tolerance for ambiguity. In fact, a developed nation, for example, the measure of lateness of a train in Japan is 2 seconds. If a train is 2 seconds late, it's perceived to be late. I leave it to you whether how percentage of trains would be late if you make 2 seconds late as the criterion of lateness. And therefore, our most admired metro, even metro has lateness of 59 seconds. If a metro is 59 seconds late, then only it's perceived to be late. So this high tolerance for ambiguity in terms of time and quality chalta hai culture. You can't make a world-class product by having a chalta hai culture. It has to be, in fact, almost the top, which is a quality of consciousness we brought in. The lack of passion and commitment to goal. Whatever goal is given, the passion and commitment, later on I'll tell you. In fact, I developed an equation, maybe I can tell you here, which indeed I use as a transformation process as a founder director at Rocky. IIT is symbolized excellence. So I developed this equation. It's a famous Einsteinian equation, E is equal to mc square. In my equation, E is excellence, M is motivation, and C is commitment. So excellence is motivation and commitment square. And the corollary of that was, if your commitment is half-hearted, you're indifferent, laid back, unconcerned, C is 0.5, that's half-hearted. E becomes 1/4. But you have the passion and zeal to do what you do. C becomes 2, E becomes 4. And the corollary was, excellence and indifference cannot coexist. Where people, where teachers, where society, where employees are indifferent to the goal, they cannot achieve excellence, and therefore excellence and indifference cannot coexist. So unless we have passion and commitment to whatever role is assigned to us, no role is big or small. It's your passion and commitment to perform that role with a sense of excellence is what finally matters. And that Macaulay mindset, when everything foreign or foreign products, foreign education, foreign languages, foreign people, always better than a role. In fact, if a professor from Stanford comes, he will get an interview everywhere. I spent my entire lifetime here. I'm yet to find such a place on either Indian television or anywhere else. So somehow we anything for us, I call it the Macaulay mindset. Macaulay mindset must give respect to your own people first, and this is what's important. So anything foreign, anything product, that's why our honorable Prime Minister make vocal for local. A brilliant slogan for making Indian, and a brilliant way of doing away with the Macaulay mindset. In fact, this mindset is that inadequate focus on implementation of ideas and lack of eye for detail. For lack of eye for detail, there's a project for a very small, silly thing. Our project is held up because I didn't look at it. So eye for detail is critical for implementing ideas on time. Misplaced emphasis and priorities. You need to find out the right priorities in life. Unless you want right priorities and you focus on lower priorities, given higher attention, and non-issues become major issues, perhaps not a way for developing. A myopic subsystem thinking in decision making. Look at a problem from a narrow subsystem perspective, a colored lens of what is for my department, for my group, for my department, for my family. So myopic subsystem thinking. That's why industrial engineering looks at a problem in its totality. Holistic thinking. Because all problems have to be solved in a holistic thinking, and inadequate focus on education, research, and learning that I talked about. Now, this is what indeed is some of the. Now, I'll leave it to you. To what extent we need to do. Now, as I said, that there is a very important concept of negative organizational systems and open systems and negentropic. What is negentropic? Those of you might have been of the engineering, core engineering, now losing. So maybe you may not know what entropy means. Entropy is a measure of disorder in a system. A higher entropy system is more chaotic, more disorderly. And while a physical system like a laptop would be, entropy would always increase as it becomes older, frequently. The beauty of any organization or even a country, that being an open system is negentropic, howsoever chaotic or disorderly the situation may be, by bringing right kind of leadership, by bringing right kind of priorities, by bringing right kind of policies and programs, even most disorderly system can become most orderly. So therefore, because organizational systems are negentropic, it's quite possible that by bringing right kind of passion and priorities that I talked about, it's possible for me to. Then the next part is emulate the best practices. Emulate the best practices and role models from Indian context. When you choose a role model, unfortunately, teachers have ceased to become role models. There was a time when they were inspired by great teachers. They could choose role models. They actually become direction indicators. They motivate you. First from Indian context and ancient knowledge systems first, and later from options. Keep your minds open. Human mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open. Be open to receive ideas from anywhere, but prefer your own systems first. And those eye for details. And therefore, what I would suggest now. I now come to the crux of my roadmap. This indeed is. I bring out this will be the later part of this concluding part of my presentation. Is a real genuinely after raising the issues, what do I do? What direction do we take? I have after a lot of thinking, I'm proposing here. I've said it elsewhere too. This 21-point roadmap to re-engineer India for global leadership role by 2047. These 21 points, I call it E mantras elsewhere. E because they all begin with the letter E. And may not happen overnight, but so long as you're monitoring these progress on these fronts, the holistic development will make India as a Viksit Rashtra by 2047 would happen. And therefore, I present before you this 21-point roadmap, which indeed is a prescriptive, normative policy, primarily intended to improve mindset. Most of these are basically intended to improve mindset. And obviously, you can do introspection. Where do they currently stand on these mindsets? I will quickly run through 1 to 21, and then if there are question answers, because destiny comes out in a question answer mode. I'll therefore very quickly mention this 21. आप उसको आत्मसात कर सकते हो बाद में, because each one of these can perhaps require introspection. Eliminate waste of all kinds: time, money, space, energy, talent. We indeed are almost wasting all of these resources. Many times the shortage of resources because we're wasting them in a big way. And therefore, as a result, eliminate waste of all kinds of time, money, space, energy, and talent. Waste of talent. I mean, if, after doing a degree or PhD or whatever from IT, if I'm doing a market, I'm not undermining role, but if I'm not using that engineering talent, I'm not using energy wastage, water wastage, money. Therefore, eliminate waste of all kinds: time, money, space, energy. And I'll show you, for example, in 1979, when I first gone to attend the International Symposium on Waste Management in Japan, I was asked to present a country paper. I then compared, even for such as agriculture produce, wheat, for example, the total waste of food grains from field to household is 2.5% even for developed countries like Australia and India and America. Indian wastage of food grains from is 14.5%, not to include the kitchen waste that we include here. In fact, one of my PhD students here, Dr. Neeta Sharma, who perhaps teaches in college somewhere, she's around here. She did a PhD. We have demonstrated through systematic modeling that about 41,000 crore of food is wasted in Indian weddings per year. Hundreds of varieties to display your wealth and a lot of huge stock independent consumption and so on. We must eliminate waste, and you'll find many shortages of the commodities that we talk about today is because we are wasting them in a big way, wheat, water, wheat, electricity, whatever. In general, we have about 20% wastage of resources taking place just by virtue of stock dependent consumption. Then enforce ethical conduct, discipline, punctuality, cleanliness at all places at all times. Look at it. If you go to a developed country, you will not find kachra littered around here and there. Punctuality. Therefore, enforce ethical conduct, discipline, punctuality, cleanliness at all places at all times. 3. Eradicate corrupt practices, illiteracy, and extreme income imbalance between rich and poor. Evolve right priorities to avoid misplaced emphasis on non-issues. Evolve the right priorities. Focus where to spend your time and effort. No point wasting time on trivialities and you say, I have no time left. Evolve the right priorities to avoid misplaced emphasis and non-issues. Enshrine excellent focus on every task from routine to study. Irrespective of the routine job is equal to MC square, that is Number 5, E is equal to MC square, because whatever role is given to you, be passionate about it. You see, I am now teaching for the last 56 years. My students tell me that the passion in my teaching here is no different from what it was in 1968 when I started teaching IT as a lecturer. If you're passionate about it, you do not get tired. You become tired if you do something that you don't enjoy doing. And therefore, be passionate about it, whatever be the role, from very routine and therefore to strategic. And therefore, hence excellence in influence. Then 6 is evaluate options based on life cycle costing. This is a major important in decision making. When we look at a problem, evaluate options, alternatives, which machine to purchase, which technology to adopt. We simply go over the immediate cost, the whole life cycle costing. Your entire perspective would change the moment you look at that alternative from a life cycle costing perspective as opposed to the immediate cost of you. And therefore, the moment you look at evaluate options in investment decisions from a life cycle costing perspective, and you would find that what appeared to be cheap is very expensive in life cycle perspective, and what appeared to be expensive is cheap in the life cycle perspective. जो हमारे पुरानी जो कहावतें होती थी कि सस्ता होवे बार-बार महंगा होवे एक बार, is nothing but contained in the life cycle costing concept. The moment therefore when you look at investment proposals, look at the life cycle cost and not only the immediate cash outflow, because your entire decisions would change if you look at a problem from life cycle costing. Then emulate the best practices and role models from Indian context and ancient knowledge system. Personally, then it endorse hyper detailed paradigm for effective implementation for higher policies and projects. Enhance quality of education seamlessly across the entire value chain. This is fortunately NEP is doing it. Now, for example, we had earlier divided education into primary, secondary, tertiary. Education is a seamless and tailored supply chain. And because the output from the previous link becomes an input, unless your institution nurtures the school education, you will not get great quality products to come in. Unless schools nurture the primary education, so look at the education as a seamless supply chain and to make a difference in terms of, and therefore, quality education, don't ignore primary, particularly the best teachers must be put into primary education. Because that's where the impressionable minds, because it's often said that your real values are incorporated at the age of 5 or 6 years of age. Later on, when I come to higher education, I'm doing damage control in rectifying the distortions in value system, and they don't undermine the role of primary school education. They're the real teachers, and therefore they're giving higher weightage to higher education and lower weightage in primary education. Teachers, a teacher is a teacher. Perhaps a primary school teacher can have a major, impressionable, permanent impact on the conversion, the mindset of society and people. So look at supply chain, academic supply chain or education as a seamlessly without differentiating into higher, senior or primary. Employ e-governance, e-commerce, and IT-enabled services. And here country has done wonders. Correct? The digitalization in this country, in terms of the major strides we have made, perhaps if the developed country would not have thought of their kind of Aadhaar, and digitalization or rupee, e-payment, rupee, and all that you call about. What an enormous, for example, e-government is mandatory GEM portal for all government purchases, and they put employ e-governance, e-commerce, and IT-enabled service to make things, deliver services that are better, cheaper, faster. And fortunately, on this front, India has done wonderfully well. All that we need to do is extend it to the whole population. Then 11th is examine the root cause of the problem and do not address only symptoms. This is where it's an important, and unfortunately, in problem solving, many times we only look at the root problem or the symptoms. There's a problem. Unless you get down to the root cause of the problem and remove the root cause, the symptom would resurface. This is what happens in our, many times you have a headache, you take a pill, your symptom is suppressed for a while, it reinforces, it re-emerges, और थोड़े दिन में मैं एक कंपनी डबल ले लें, थोड़े दिन में 2 की कंपनी 4 ले लें. Suppressing symptoms of a problem is not solving a problem, it's postponing a problem. And unless you go to the root cause of the problem and remove the root cause, the final permanent solution to the problem would not be. And when we look at the problem, do not look at symptoms. Unfortunately, symptoms are superficial ways of solving problems. And unless you identify the root cause and remove the root cause, the problem is not solved, it's only postponed. And it will reappear with double intensity later on. Then 12th is emphasize holistic integrated systems approach. This is my training as an industrial engineer. When you look at a problem decision making, but all perspectives. For example, when you solve a problem might have an engineering perspective, an administrative perspective, a mathematical perspective, a financial perspective, a legal perspective, a governmental perspective, a societal perspective. When you look at a problem in its all totality, look at all the perspectives so that implementation of that becomes easier. We only solve the problem by only one perspective, either technical perspective or economic perspective. is not going to be a long-term solution to the problem. And when you look at a problem, emphasize holistic thinking, holistic health, education, holistic education, problem solving, holistic education, problem solving, and therefore emphasizing integrated system approach, and that's where industrial engineering as a systems approach is an extremely important component of training. And to my mind, I honestly believe that the moment we integrate that holistic thinking to industrial engineering, problems in all branches of engineering will truly be creating our local product becoming globally competitive. Then 13th is encompass efficiency and effectiveness together in performance. Many times when we invent efficiency and effectiveness, many people think they are synonymous. They are not. Only management people may know the difference. Efficiency is using your resources optimally. For example, completing a flyover project in time, in cost, within quality is efficiency. Effectiveness is has that flyover serve the purpose. And so many times you find that despite flyovers, the congestion location has shifted, but congestion has not come down, because a project may be efficiently implemented but not effectively. If efficiency is doing things right and effectiveness is doing the right things. So choosing right project, right direction, right problem area. And when we look at a problem performance appraisal, look at both efficiency and effectiveness. Do efficiently and effectively do right things rightly. Choosing a right project for implementation is an important part, and that's effectiveness, and therefore encompass efficiency and effectiveness together as an important component of the goal. And 15th, exhibit environmental concern in line with the 17 SDGs that I already talked about. 16th is ensure food and energy security for all by exploring green energy sources. Again, India is showing tremendous amount of initiative in this direction. We are going in for renewable energy, for solar energy. We have solar reliance in the country. India is a leader in solar reliance in the world. And this ensuring food and energy security for all by exploring green, and this definitely will continue to 7 SDG. Educate people. Yeah. Educate people to develop concern for others more than concern for self. Very difficult but very important for becoming a developed nation. Empower employees and society to extract solutions to the problem. The real solution to the problem resides at the level problems arise. And if we empower people, nurture them, make them good, they'll solve the problems right at the spot before they become unbearable later on. And the empowering people, by nurturing them, will be able to empower them that if there is a problem, right at the place where because solution to the problem really resides at the problem location where problems arises. And this can only happen by empowering people in a big way. And finally, last 3, ensure transparency, equity, fairness in all processes, all policies, and all actions. Fairness, equity, transparency is an important component of good governance. IT, for example, has done a great job in treating that, and we must ensure transparency, equity, fairness in all processes, policies. 20th, establish quality prerequisites in products and services. That means, what are the quality prerequisites? Customer orientation. Now, customer, this is another viewpoint I'd like to share. Now, all through we have been seeing customer the king. This paradigm has gone a slight change. This is a very best-selling book by Vinik Nair, who is the Vice Chairman of SCA Technologies. Now, he's written a book called Employees First, Customer Second. And the rationale of that logic is only delighted employees would delight the customer. If an employee is frustrated or disgruntled or unhappy, don't expect a disillusioned, unhappy or disillusioned, unhappy customer, employee to delight the external customers. Many times we look at people who are troubling the customers, we look at the way they have been treated in their organization. Just for example, give an idea, just a purely hypothetical idea, a frustrated faculty member can create huge amount of poison in the classroom by talking about all the negative things about the organization because he's personally disgruntled. And this, as a result, this Vinik Nair's book says, if you really expect customer delight, ensure your employees are delighted. Only delighted employee, but he's not saying employees first, customer second. And if you look at the great companies in the world, they have gone enormous strides in ensuring the employee satisfaction, and a delighted employee would then ensure on customer satisfaction. They put, as a result, customer orientation, total quality people, TQP, preventive focus. Again, our current mindset is emergency driven, crisis driven. Unless there is a crisis, I don't perceive a problem. Only crisis tells me that a problem has arisen. A preventive focus is a very old debate. A stitch in time saves life. And it's been shown through total quality management, quality cause, that if we ignore a problem and which is to be solved later on when a crisis emerges, 10 times more cost. Preventing a fire is 1/10 of fire extinguishing. And this preventive mindset is not very natural to us because we don't perceive a problem unless crisis happen. And preventive focus, data-driven decision making, and involvement of all stakeholders in the quality journey. And finally, enrich teamwork by people as a win-win strategy. Team is an acronym. Some of you know, team is an acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. So people work as a team. Everyone is a win-win strategy. And therefore, as a team, we must nurture what's known as high performance team, HPT. And unfortunately, our current focus of teamwork in India is not what I can call high performance. In fact, मैं आपको एक analogy देके बताता हूँ. एक बार मैं quality circle forum में गया, तो वहाँ पे 100 फ्लोर के लोग आ रहे हैं और टीम वर्क होता है quality circle. तो जैसे में high performance team होती क्या है? तो उसी से मैं दिमाग में आइडिया आया, अभी आई एम शेयरिंग विद यू, बिल्कुल दिमाग में फिट बैठता है. High performance teams means the individuals in the team are not important. The team as a whole is important. The output of the team as a whole is important. And therefore, I found, and the pseudo team is कि दिखाने के लिए जो टीम है, आडंबर चढ़ा हुआ टीम नंबर का टीम का नाम दे रखा है, अंदर से सब इंडिविजुअल टीम के अंदर. तो मैंने उसका एक एनालॉजी ली, because you can develop another. Is to me a pseudo team is संतरा कल्चर, संतरा टीम. बाहर से जो आडंबर कवर चढ़ा हुआ संतरा का, ऐसे लगता है कि पूरा एक संतरा अकेला है. Peel off the cover, सब अंदर से अकेले. This is a pseudo team. Unfortunately, we have many such manifestations of having a lot of pseudo teams where genuine teamwork across every team member is committed to that cause. So therefore, Santra culture or Santra team is a pseudo team. What is hyperperson? खरबूजा culture. खरबूजा. बाहर से अलग अलग आपकी इंडिविजुअल टीम खत्म नहीं होगी. अलग अलग भाग दिखती है आपको. You are individually there. अंदर से फाड़ो सब एक. Therefore, a high performance team. Individuals don't matter. It's the collective outcome of the team. And whenever Indian sports team has played as a team, we have become world champions. Where we have only played to make my own century, we might have made our own century, but we might have missed the bus. Therefore, this teamwork is together, everyone achieves more. Unfortunately, it is very, very low in manifestation. What is there is not a great acronym. Maybe म्यूचुअली एश्योर्ड डिसएडवांटेज. जो आप सड़क पे देखते हो, जो आज भी मैंने देखा, इधर से भी सड़क में दोनों तरफ व्हीकल आ रहे हैं, आमने सामने सारे व्हीकल, सड़क सारी घेर रखी है, ऐसे खड़े जैसे युद्ध की दो सेनाएं आमने सामने है. एवरीबॉडी सफर, हर आदमी लेट है उसमें. अगर अपने अपनी लेन में आप चलें, you could have cleared the traffic in 5 minutes or hard में 30 minutes. So it's mutually assured disadvantage. Lack of teamwork, everyone suffers. We don't realize this, and this leads to all the problems. And therefore, I believe that these 21 what we call as e-mantras or e-rules, they are my mind. They all begin with the, and they use a kind of a commandment as a like rule. But to me, if you follow these 21, they will be more. They are not exclusive. In Latin spirit, and if every population is nurtured in the direction, there is no way that anybody can deny India to be a developed nation by 2047. These are what perhaps could be an area we could so in this perspective, I thought of sharing this with the theme was nurturing minds and mindsets. Because to my mind, it's a real critical success factor in making India a great Viksit Bharat by 2047. And if that happens, because it has all the credentials of being so, we were there. For example, if you know the when we talk about the Stanford, and we look at the Nalanda. Not many people would know about the Nalanda, but if I tell you what makes Nalanda a great university, 100% residential, 2,000 teachers, 10,000 students, all lived on campus. What is the student to teacher ratio? 1:5. Guru Shishya Parampara. Multi-discipline. They were teaching mathematics, they were teaching archery, they were teaching they were teaching astrology, they were teaching Sanskrit, language. Global students, people from other countries came and studied. Global faculty and assured funding. If you know the funding mechanism of Nalanda, about 200 villages, the ruler of that area, for 200 villages around surrounding Nalanda, they were mandated the entire revenue from those villages would be totally devoted to nurturing Nalanda. And about 200 residents of each village would be responsible in entertaining and nurturing the acharyas, the gurus, and the ruler would bow before a guru. And 9-floor building, imagine 9-story building in 4000 AD. We had the technology to make 9-floor buildings. The library of Nalanda had 9-story buildings with 90 million books and manuscripts. And when it was burned, the fire was extreme in 6 months. So much of the collection of Nalanda's library. And therefore, if this is the kind of the world university we had, want to become a world-class university, about Nalanda is a case in point. You could do that, and therefore I am very confident because they're brilliant people. All we need to change is the mindset which can be nurtured and cultivated to make India a great nation by 2047. Thank you very much. I thought of sharing this. If some of the viewpoint does not begin in university, excuse me, it's my personal view, and you may discard it. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
अब समय में प्रश्न उत्तर सत्र का आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि आप अपने प्रश्न एक एक करके पूछें। डॉक्टर अनिल दया सर, आपकी आवश्यकता है।
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have a series of 2 questions. So, nowadays there is a buzz of the term called AI, which has resulted, as you said, which has resulted in the declining interest among the students to opt for core branches. So what are the policies or what are the interventions that can address this problem?
Actually, it's a good question. और ये मैंने बताया भी था।
Sir, one more question. Sir, will artificial intelligence be more intelligent than natural or human intelligence in the future?
Very good question, and let me now. देखिए, अपने नाम में लिखा हुआ है artificial intelligence. Can anything artificial can be better than native? सोचने की बात है. Can artificial intelligence be replacement of real intelligence? Never, because the name says artificial intelligence. Therefore, while it can help in certain routine decision makings in automating, it can never be a replacement of real intelligence. Therefore, the danger is, that's why I often say, handle artificial intelligence very cautiously, very maturely, because if handled in a routine manner, it can prove to be disastrous in the society. Because if machines start behaving like like men may start behaving like a computer. Or society would be a very poor society where people become machines, because machines are becoming people, like the artificial intelligence. So therefore, under no case, AI to me is an enabler. Enabler is valid so long it helps you solving my problems. The moment it becomes a bigger problem, because if the solution becomes worse than the original problem, then it's not a solution. To me, therefore, artificial intelligence as an emerging educational technology must be integrated, and that's why मैंने बताया इसमें, और मैं आपको ये भी बताऊं, ये शब्द नया नहीं है. First time artificial intelligence was used was 1956. The concept of expert systems, knowledge engineer decision support system. Artificial intelligence is nothing but using the data and algorithm to find responses to evaluating options, and therefore artificial intelligence should never be thought to be replacing real intelligence in people. Similarly, AI and IT, as I mentioned, is one of the cannot be replacement of core technology. So what I've given a solution also, it's a very powerful solution. IT and AI are important enablers of emerging technologies. They can help you generating a large number of ideas and alternatives, evaluate them, therefore use it for the creative purposes and integrate them in the core engineering. So you have IT and AI integrated into mechanical engineering. Don't eliminate mechanical engineering, but integrate AI and IT into it. AI and AI civil engineering. When you teach civil engineering, you are using software and AI-driven tools in developing bridges, designing buildings, etc. So here, it's a win-win proposition, and the employment would be much more because the graduates would be domain knowledge of civil or mechanical and IT savvy. TCS would first have those people, because otherwise they hire people, they have to train them in because those projects come in a the TCS will be hired for a project, which could be civil project, infrastructure project, mechanical project. Therefore, integrating IT and AI into the common core engineering would be win-win for both, because my own understanding of mechanical engineering in current times, therefore, I have to unlearn a lot of things that I'm teaching now. So there's a different way that you have to teach mechanical, electrical, civil. By integrating IT and AI into it, so IT and AI would flourish along with the core engineering. That, to my mind, is the only long way and sustainable way to go ahead it. If you're thinking it's a replacement of that, to my mind, it's a recipe of disaster in times to come. There'll be a time in 5 to 6 years' time, or 10 years' time from now, there'll be glut of IT and CS people, and there'll be shortage of core engineers for mechanical, civil, electrical, because this is what I said, a short-term myopic system approach. Look at it in a long-term perspective. No society can grow unless it invests in core engineering, but enabled by IT and AI. So use it, IT and AI, as enabler and not replacement of that. And if that happens, it will be win-win.
Hello, sir. Hello. There is a question. You have already discussed about the NEP, and we are here discussing about Vimarsh is going on the Developed India 2047. Okay. तो आपने NEP के बारे में बात किया, National Education Policy, New Education Policy, or that will be a milestone for the Developed India. Certain we all will agree on this.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you have also raised a problem that the traditional branches of engineering like mechanical, civil, they are not getting the proper attention. They are at the but here I want to ask you, the applied science is they are going to be eliminated from the engineering colleges. This question has arisen. Or one thing, let me state myself completely. It has been said that the different subjects of applied science, they are not useful for the engineering branches. That is the essence of the new education policy. How would you explain this dichotomy that is being propagated among the faculties? One more thing I want to ask you, that is the education, whatever the education policy is coming, okay, this has not been discussed to the academic level in the institutions. So what is your actually idea on that?
Actually, I was associated with the NEP implementation. I was part of the committee for AICT committee for implementing NEP 2020. There are about 9 modules in implementation. So what in fact a policy is as good as implemented on ground. पहली बात तो ये है, overhyping a policy without its effective implementation is no big deal. Number 2, आपने जो पहला सवाल बोला कि applied science. To me, what is engineering? Conscious application of science to solve the problems of society, the good of mankind in engineering. Therefore, a good engineering flourishes on the stand of good science. That's why if you look at IIT, the Department of Physics, Chemistry, Mathematics are as big as powerful as mechanical and civil, because I cannot imagine good engineering without a good foundation of science. Because that's the definition of engineering. Conscious application of science to solve the problems of the society for the good of the mankind is engineering. Therefore, it's a wrong notion that you do not require applied science. Science and engineering, science and technology, they are intertwined. Sometimes the difference between the two is very, very little. In fact, Dr. S.P. Agrawal, physicist, laser pe kaam इन्होंने research में किया. In fact, a lot of people in engineering are using laser, and therefore, as a result, this distinction vanishes at the higher level. Therefore, to me, every engineering technology flourishes on the strong foundation of science. I hope it answers your question. Therefore, I don't think NEP talks about eliminating science. Let me tell you what the spirit of NEP 2020 is. It only talks about the flexibility, an optimal flexibility, so that rigidity of only taking all those courses permits certain degree of flexibility for a student to choose a branch of his choice. But then You have to also look at, then within that branch, give him freedom to choose an elective. He wants to major in manufacturing engineering. He wants to major in thermal engineering. He wants to major in, give him that freedom of selecting options. It does not say that you get a degree in mechanical engineering by taking all the courses from other than mechanical engineering. It doesn't say that. If somebody thinks that way, it's a wrong understanding of NEP 2020. There's a concept of core and electives still there in a BTech degree. So it only talks about you have 60% core of the branch where you are studying, 40% flexibility of taking courses other than your own domain in outside. Because as I mentioned, the spirit again here is a good engineer has to be a good human being. That's why in IIT Kharagpur, the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, and all through my entire education there for 4 years in BTech, then every semester I had a course in Humanities and Social Science, so that I have studied about principles of government and constitution, economics, psychology, sociology, industrial labor, and philosophy. Because you might say, why do you need as an engineer? Because an engineer is not a robot. He needs to be dealing with people, and therefore human sciences must be integrated. Leadership, management. Because after all, you are going to lead people, you have to manage teams. So those inputs are needed, but you cannot have 90% of those courses, 10% of mechanical engineering. And so it does not say that you have all the, when you talk of flexibility and autonomy, there's an optimal limit of flexibility. And in fact, flexibility without limit can become ridiculous. And the basic, you often learn from human body. Our human body, look at the flexibility. No robotics in the world has developed so much a degree of flexibility. But then when it comes to my bones, my nose cartilage is so flexible, my tongue is so flexible, but my bones in my legs 100% rigid. Imagine if they were flexible, what will happen? Therefore, you cannot be flexible with ethics and values. You say flexible. There are certain things you have to be rigid. Like this, मैं कहता हूँ यहाँ से सीखो, जहाँ पे कोई flexibility नहीं है, tongue में पूरी flexibility है. Imagine your tongue was rigid, what will happen? So learn from nature. Optimal flexibility, optimal choice, but unlimited flexibility, unlimited choice, unlimited autonomy is not the spirit of it. Only giving a reasonable, and you need to determine on yourself. The other thing it talks about academic bank of credits. आपके यहाँ पे कोई अच्छा टीचर नहीं है, कहीं और से एक अच्छा, he can take that course from there, and that would count in your degree here. तो इसको सही ढंग से इसका पालन किया जाए तो बुरी चीज नहीं है. It talks about our chairman of the ICT committee which permitted learning in own language, जो हिंदी अभी शुरू हुआ है. Our chairman of that committee, unfortunately that was implemented. और 8 या 10 भाषाओं में ऑलरेडी. उसके पीछे थीसिस ये है, भी मैं बताना भूल गया, लोग बोला था मैकले माइंडसेट में. एक भी देश मुझे ऐसे बता दीजिए, विकसित देश जो अपनी मातृभाषा में नहीं पढ़ाता राइट पीएचडी. कहीं भी चले जाइए, जापान जापानीज पढ़ाता, चाइना चाइनीज पढ़ाता, फ्रेंच से पढ़ाता, इवन यूरोपियन यूनियन का हिस्सा है, पर जर्मनी जर्मन में पढ़ाता है. हमारे देश में ही मैकॉले का अंग्रेजी है. तो ये स्पिरिट थी जो गांव के, मैं गांव का गरीब परिवार का बच्चा हूँ, हिंदी मीडियम से 12वीं पास करी मैंने अपने गांव से, कि मैं IIT खड़गपुर में गया, मैं कोचिंग थी हो ही नहीं सकती. सो हमें लगा कि जो मैं यूपी वाले में गांव में जो पुराने बच्चों को अंग्रेजी नहीं आती, ना टीचर को आती है ना स्टूडेंट को, क्योंकि हमारे अच्छे टीचर जाते ही नहीं है, आधी शायद वो समझ में नहीं आता क्या पढ़ाया जा रहा है. ऐसे बच्चों को एनकरेज करने के लिए एज एन ऑप्शन परमिट देम टू टीच इन देयर मदर टंग. आइडिया ये था कि डेवलप्ड कंट्री इवेंचुअली मस्ट डेवलप कैपेबिलिटीज टू गिव द हाईएस्ट लेवल ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन इन देयर मदर टंग. बिकॉज जब वो जाएगा, और शुरू में तो बोर्ड रूम में बैठेगा नहीं, शुरू में जो फील्ड में जाएगा एज सिविल इंजीनियर, ही बी डीलिंग विद लेबर, अंग्रेजी थोड़ी चलेगा, उनकी भाषा सीख के बोलना पड़ेगा. जैसे डॉक्टर जाएगा तो अंग्रेजी में थोड़ी बोलेगा मरीज से. Therefore, you will even be performing much better if you are taught in your mother tongue. But it will take time. It cannot be over switch on because अभी mindset खत्म हुआ है. तो हमने ये भी बताया था कि हिंदी में जो बीटेक करेगा उसकी एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी नहीं होगी, क्योंकि सारी जो पीपीटी जो गिफ्ट रिसर्च होते हैं सब अंग्रेजी में होते हैं. Either you create a, हमने उसमें सजेशन भी दिया था, in order to give a kind of a fillip, let the state governments reserve about 10% of the seats for engineering graduates who are trained in their own language of their state. तो इस तरह का अगर इंसेंटिवाइज करोगे तो बच्चे जाएंगे उधर. अगर इंसेंटिवाइज नहीं करोगे तो नहीं होगा. जिसमें मैंने कल परसों पढ़ा है, गुजरात में no BTech programs are being opted by people in Gujarati language, which is one of the languages. Therefore, ये थोड़ा लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन है. उसके लिए समाधान ये भी कि थोड़ा इंसेंटिवाइज करो दैट गारंटीड एम्प्लॉयमेंट फॉर पीपल फॉर वर्किंग डन देयर डिग्री। तो ये सारी चीजें जो अच्छी बात है। इन द नेम ऑफ एनईपी 2020 यू कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग यू फील लाइक। पहले उसको पढ़ो, क्योंकि मैं उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का हिस्सा था। वी हैड लॉट ऑफ डिबेट एंड डिस्कशंस इन इट। जहां तक आपके सवाल है कि बिना चर्चा की हो गई, अभी तो मैं नहीं जानता, लेकिन उसमें यही बताया गया करीब 2 लाख लोगों से चर्चा हुई है इसमें, करीब 3-4 साल तक चर्चा हुई है बिफोर इट वाज इवॉल्व। अब ये दूसरी बात होती है 2 लाख लोगों से चर्चा करके भी अगर फोकस नहीं निकला तो कुछ भी हो सकता है। बट टू मी ए पॉलिसी इज एज गुड एज इम्प्लीमेंटेड। वी मेक कॉन्शियस एफर्ट। द इंटेंशन ऑफ एनईपी 2020 इज गुड, वेल इंटेंशन, और इसका जो अंश अच्छा लगे उसे ले लें, एंड जो अच्छा नहीं लगे उसको, ये आपको एनेबल करता, फोर्स नहीं करता। इट डज नॉट फोर्स यू। इज एफिलिएटिंग यूनिवर्सिटी हैज टू टेक ए कॉन्शियस डिसीजन कंसेप्ट। अगर आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी ऑटोमेटिकली, हम कोई मैकेनिज्म नहीं पढ़ाएंगे, ये यूनिवर्सिटी का फैसला एआईसीटी का नहीं है, एनईपी का नहीं है। Universities have to take a conscious step in implementing what is implementable and what is not. ये NEP का blame नहीं है इसमें, इसमें local implementation policy famous है। Okay, I hope I have responded.
Because of the shortage of time, I think the question answer session, any other question can be entertained on made@made.ac.in. I would request sir, once I send in the questions, he will get
मेरा देखिए बता, मैं 2 बजे छोड़, मेरी 5 बजे क्लास है आईटी दिल्ली में,
so that is why
जाना है। तो देखो, maybe but I love to talk in best in me comes out in interactive mode। जो भी संभव हुआ सब चीज। Thank you.
So you can send it on now, right? So we will continue. धन्यवाद सर, हमसे अपने प्रेरणादायक विचारों को साझा करने के लिए। आपका ज्ञानवर्धन एवं आधुनिक दृष्टिकोण हम सभी के लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत है। अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी श्री मोहन गर्ग जी, जॉइंट जनरल सेक्रेटरी, कृपया हमें अपने शब्दों से अनुग्रहित करें।
नमस्कार। आज मैं हमारे जो फाउंडर चेयरमैन डॉक्टर नंद किशोर गर्ग जी, वो किसी कारणवश आज नहीं आ पाए, तो मेरी उन्होंने ड्यूटी लगाई कि मैं प्रोफेसर प्रेम व्रत, जो भारत के बहुत ही सीनियर एजुकेशनिस्ट हैं, उनका अपने नेक्स्ट परिवार की ओर से यहाँ स्वागत करूं, उनका धन्यवाद करूं। नम्रता शर्मा जी ने जैसे उनका पूरा परिचय किया और उनकी बातें सुनकर बहुत ही वी आर फॉर्चुनेट कि आज वो हमारे बीच में हैं, और उन्होंने जो कुछ बातें कही वो मैंने ध्यान से सुनी। जो हमारी फैकल्टी को उनसे अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए वो बात एक मैं कहना चाहता हूँ, और निवेदन करूंगा प्रेम व्रत जी से कि वो फिर कभी समय निकालकर हमारी फैकल्टी के साथ जरूर बैठे। उन्होंने कहा टीचर इज ऑलवेज अ टीचर। तो हमारे बहुत से यहाँ टीचर्स जो डायरेक्टर या एचओडी बन जाते हैं, मैं ब्लंटली कहता हूँ, वो बिल्कुल ही टीचिंग को अवॉइड करते हैं, जबकि आप इस एज में भी अभी आप क्लास लेने के लिए जा रहे हैं। तो एक तो मेरा उनसे निवेदन है सभी एचओडीज और डायरेक्टर से कि वो क्लासेस जरूर लें, और अपनी जो उनकी जूनियर फैकल्टीज हैं उनकी भी क्लासेस लें, उनको भी आगे लर्निंग के लिए प्रेरित करें। दूसरा, हमारे जो रिसोर्सेज हैं उसके वेस्टेज पे प्रेम जी ने बोला, शादी का एक उदाहरण दिया, ये हर जगह वेस्टेज होती है। हमारे कैंपस में भी अभी आप जाए, हो सकता है क्लासरूम में कोई नहीं है, वहाँ एसी भी चलेंगे, पंखे भी चलेंगे, लाइट्स भी चलेंगी, जबकि जब एनर्जी बनती है तो कितना पॉल्यूशन होता है, कोल प्लांट्स जहाँ एनर्जी बनती है। हमको इन सब छोटी छोटी बातें, पानी ना बहाएं, बिजली वेस्ट ना करें, प्लास्टिक की रैपिंग ना करें, अपने इंस्टीट्यूट में शुरू किया गिफ्ट को रैप ना करो, तो ये छोटी छोटी बातें, इनसे हमने बहुत सीखने की है। और मेरा निवेदन रहेगा कि वो हमारे लिए किसी दिन एक दिन डिवोट करें, हम पूरी तीनों इंस्टीट्यूट की फैकल्टी को आपके साथ बैठा के बात करें, और बहुत इम्प्रूवमेंट की गुंजाइश है। हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट का नाम है, लेकिन अभी हमें बहुत आगे जाना है, बहुत फर्दर जाना है, तो उसके लिए आप कभी समय दें। आप सबका आभार, एसपी अग्रवाल जी का, गर्ग साहब का और सारी फैकल्टी स्टाफ का जिन्होंने सुना। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सर अपने शब्दों से हमें अनुग्रहित करने के लिए। अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी प्रोफेसर नीलम शर्मा, निदेशक में। आपके निर्देशन में हम नवीनता और अनुशासन से सफलता की ओर अपने कदम बढ़ाते हैं। आपके मार्गदर्शन में हम नई ऊंचाइयों को हासिल करने की हिम्मत रखते हैं। हम सभी को अपने विचारों से संबोधित करें मैम।
I would like to start my talk by saying that the current year is the silver jubilee year for Maharaja Agrasen Technical Education Society. And as for our founder and chief advisor, Dr. Nand Kishore Kar, he said that this year is the year of celebration. We inaugurated the Silver Jubilee year by inviting our ex-president, Shri Ram Nath Kovind ji, on the 14th of August 2023. We have the liberty to invite the top experts of each field in the field of engineering as well as education. And today, our chief guest, Professor Prem Rath, is a renowned personality in this area. So a very big round of applause for him for coming here and delivering his talk. Professor Prem Rath, Chairman, Board of Governors, IIT Dhanbad, and former Director, IIT Roorkee, I am extremely thankful to you for accepting our invitation to come and deliver a wonderful talk reminding us of our Bharat and its value system. Thank you for your 21-point roadmap for re-engineering India. So the 21-point roadmap that you have given us, I am sure we will all remember the points and we will go through your PPT and your lecture, which is already there streaming on the YouTube and on the LinkedIn. We will go through it again. I'm also thankful to Professor T.G. Sitaraman, Chairman AICT, for organizing Amrit, Kaal, Vimarsh, Viksit, Bharat at the rate 2047, and Dr. Sunil Luthra, Director AICT, for coordinating this event. Dr. Sunil Luthra ने मुझे कहा कि आपका कॉलेज जो गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस हैं सबसे बेस्ट उसके बाद इंस्टीट्यूट है और हम सबसे बेस्ट जो हमारा स्पीकर है वो हम आपको दे रहे हैं ताकि वो आए और आपके कॉलेज में टॉप को डिलीवर करें। I am also thankful to Professor Dr. D.K. Benwar, VC, University of Engineering and Technology, Kolkata, retired VC from there, and also a visiting professor at IIT Delhi. Thank you, sir, for coming here. जैसे इन्होंने सुना कि Professor Prem Rath आ रहे हैं, तो he himself opted and he somehow managed to come here at the right time to be here with us. I would also like to thank Shri Mohan Garg sir, Joint General Secretary MATES, क्योंकि फाउंडर एंड चीफ एडवाइजर सर जो कि हमारे बीच आज नहीं आ पाए क्योंकि उनको जरूरी काम था, तो इनको सवेरे ही सर से बात हुई और अपने काम की व्यवस्था को ना देखते हुए इन्होंने हमें टाइम दिया। सो धन्यवाद सर फॉर बीइंग हियर विद अस। I am thankful to Shri S.P. Agarwal sir, retired IAS officer, Executive Chairman, MATES. Also Shri Atul Singhal ji. I am thankful to Professor S.K. Garg sir, Director General MAIMS, Director MAIMS, Director MABS, Professor Sanjeev Marwa ji, Professor S.S. Deswal, Dean Academics, all the heads of the department, the faculty members, staff of MATE, MAIMS and MABS for being present over here. So thank you all very much. And also the students who are present over here, who are listening to the conversation. Thank you all for being a part of this. Okay, a word of appreciation to my working team for today's event, Professor Vednath Mathur, Dr. Vaibhav Jain for overall coordination of the event, Dr. Namrata Sharma, Dr. Garima Sharma, Dr. Surbi Lata for holding the mic for the comparing, Ms. Nidhi Sengar, Mr. Alok Sharma, Mr. Anil Daya for technical support and for the overall discipline.
और ऑल्सो जो हमारे एनसीसी और एनएसएस के कैडेट्स खड़े हैं जो कि हमेशा डिसिप्लिन के लिए हमें सपोर्ट करते हैं. सो थैंक यू ऑल टू ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स प्रेजेंट ओवर हियर. We recognize the importance of extracurricular activities and encourage our students to take part in the variety of activities outside of the classroom. I would like to conclude my speech by these words. A bright future is nothing more than a combination of determination, optimism, and self-assurance. But remember that country comes first, जो कि हमारे 25 years के लोगों में भी लिखा हुआ है, राष्ट्र प्रथम. So thank you all. Thank you very much.